Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am trying to teach you SQL concepts with this channel, and with this video I will teach you self-join with the power of visualization. I have seen that lot of experience and new folks uh, face lot of problem in grasping the core concept of self-join, and the reason is they don't try to visualize the problem, they don't try to visualize the solution, they just try to write the query and get the output. And in this video I will teach you how to visualize the tables, how to visualize the output and get the expected outcome from the query. So thanks guys, now I'm going to start. First I'll delete this query so that I can start afresh. So this is our table, let's call it just employee as of now. This table has employee id, which is a numeric value, and then employee name, which is a string, and then manager id, which is also a numeric value. So if you try to understand from the organizational point of view, Michael Scott is the head or the CEO or someone who does not report to anyone. Pam reports to Jim, that is manager id is 3. Manager id is same as employee id. Manager id must be the employee id of someone, so it is Jim's. Jim report to manager id 4, so that means employee id 4, that is Stanley, and Stanley report to manager id 1, that is Michael Scott. So hope you have understood how this table goes. So Michael reports to no one, Pam reports to manager id 3, Jim reports to 4, Stanley reports to 1. Manager id is also an employee id, but manager's employee id. So that is the core table on which we are going to apply the concept of self join. Now I'll start by writing a simple query. Select star from employee. I'll call it as A. A is just an aliasing which I've used. So this is the first query. When I'll run this, I'll get this out. Now, in the interview question is, you have to get this output from the query. Employee name and their corresponding manager name. This should be the output. How are we going to get this from single table? So that this is where self join comes into the picture. Now, when I have selected employee, everything from the employee table, I'll get this output. Now what I'll do is I'll join the employee table with itself. I mean employee table will be joined with employee table again. So I'll show you how this will be done. Let's call it B. So now when we are writing this query, we should try to understand what is happening behind the scenes. So what database engine is doing. So definitely when we are joining two table, it will not directly join it unless it is a cross join. We have to specify on what condition are you joining it. So we will write the condition on from first table. See, this is employee table A. Now suppose I've created as employee table B. Both are same table. Just for your, I'll just name it accordingly. Both are same table, but now the database engine know that you have two tables that we have. Just try to visualize in that way that we have two tables. I'll make it simple for you to understand. On from table A is the manager ID. We'll take manager ID. So A dot manager ID is equal to B dot employee ID. Manager is also an employee, so manager ID is someone's employee ID. So what we will do is we will write B dot employee ID and keep it small. Now I will segregate this query. First, we have selected everything from table A. This is the output, and then we join with employee table B and second table created, which is copy of first table, but its name is B, and joining these two tables on A dot manager ID is equal to B dot employee ID. So manager ID is 3. So what SQL database engine will do, it will try to find this match with employee ID. So what is going to happen here next? So manager ID is 3. It will going to search in the employee ID column of the same table, but visualize it as a different table. So manager ID is 3. It is going to search 3333. This is 3. So that means Pam reports to Jim. Definitely all the characters are from the office. You may have figured it out already. Now Jim has employee ID, manager ID 4, employee ID 3. So manager ID is 4. Definitely this is also an employee ID, someone's employee ID, although not specified here. So what we are going to do, manager ID is equal to employee ID. So manager ID 4, it will search in the employee ID column. Oh, 4 is Stanley. So Jim and Stanley both are related this way. Stanley is manager of Jim. Now Stanley's manager ID is 1. Manager ID is someone's employee ID, so definitely it will search in this employee ID column. And employee ID 1 is Michael Scott. So done. Now when this join is executed, when we execute this, suppose we are selecting everything from table A and everything from table B. What is going to happen? So in simple, so we'll see what happens behind the scene when we join the table with itself. So just try to visualize these S2 tables as I said earlier. Now we'll see what happens behind the scene, how things work. So first I'll copy this and go to a separate sheet to just explain you. So this is table A, this is table B, which are essentially the same table. Now manager ID for Pam is 3. Michael Scott has no one. So what happens when join query is executed, when the query we have written here is executed, is a single table is created where two tables are adjacent to each other. In the insurgent case, it is similar, but instead of two separate tables, same table is adjacent to each other with different aliases, of course. So what will happen when the query is executed? So we will have a separate table. Let's call it as table employee C. Employee C. And what will happen is we will copy this table first. Now Pam's reporting manager ID is 3. So 3 is Jim. It will be copied here and it will be pasted here. Stanley's manager ID is 1. So one employee ID will be copied here and pasted here. And Jim's manager ID is 4. So 4, 4 will be copied here. Stanley will be pasted here. Michael Scott reports to me. So let's call it as again manager ID, and this will be the manager name, and this will be the manager's manager ID, manager's manager. So this will be the new table which gets created, and this will be the sample space from where we are going to get the output. It is as simple as that. So now, if I copy my select query here, uh, this is my select query. I'll copy this to the sheet. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll copy this query here. Now instead of a dot everything from a and b, if I execute this query, this will be the output. Of course, I have to alias this instead of calling it as it will be employee ID, employee name, and manager ID again. But I have to alias this and write it as manager ID. But instead of taking every column, we will focus on the output, which is this. So it is employee name and manager name. That is it. We want employee name and manager name. So what we will do is, now suppose I'll insert one more column. Okay. So this part, this part, let's call it as part 1, and this part, let's call it as part 2. Just for the sake of visualization, assume this table is divided in two parts, part 1 and part 2. So from table A, that is part 1, I'll take employee name, and from table 2, part, that is part 2. Remember, when we do a self join, always visualize that single table is created. So from part 2, that is b dot, I'll take manager name, and when I'll execute this query, I'll have this. This will be what we were expecting. So hope you have understood the concept of self join. For any doubts, just post it in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you. Thank you very much.